1410 Wing AM, Dayton's ESPN Radio, powered by.
Want to make the most of your tax refund? File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Some foot issues just can't be fixed by those expensive shoe stores or shoe inserts. A foot exam from a doctor of podiatric medicine, who is the medical expert in foot and ankle care, may give solutions after doing a complete foot examination. If you suffer from foot, heel, or ankle pain, let us help you find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association so you know you are being treated by the very best. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Oh, my house needs some help. It needs a new roof, new windows, and siding if I can afford it. I just don't know who to call. Your house is updated and looks so nice. Who does your work?
Buckeye Home Services does all my work. Their prices are affordable, and they do a great job. Call 586-6600 for a free estimate. Buckeye does roofing, siding, gutters, leaf guards, windows, doors, patio covers, even kitchens and baths.
Sounds like they're the ones to call. What's that number again?
Buckeye Home Services, 586-6600.
Ready to love where you live? The Clark County Home and Garden Show returns March 27th through the 29th at the Clark County Fairgrounds in Springfield, presented by Home Genius Interiors. This is your chance to meet trusted local pros, explore fresh ideas, and get inspired for your next renovation or landscaping project. Admission is free, powered by Buckeye Decorative Concrete. 3 days, real experts, real inspiration. March 27th through 29th, the Clark County Home and Garden Show, where your next project begins.
Here it comes! Surprise! The people above your catering business are doing major construction, and the drilling is only during business hours. So loud!
Yes, no, small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money, getting personalized discounts on a commercial auto quote with Progressive.
Also, that isn't powdered sugar on the floor. It's plaster from your ceiling.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
It's tax time, y'all. If you want to file free, this next one's for you.
Now taxes is so free. Tax free edition only, roughly 37% of buyers qualify. Up to 40 returns only. This is tax.
Love that jam. Up next, commercial.
Intuit TurboTax Free Edition. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, student loan interest, and Schedule 1A.
The Justin Kinner Show. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show. Right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
Everybody, welcome in. Happy Friday. Justin Kinner Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. 937-518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. You can call that number, you can text that number, or you can hang out with us right here on 1410 Wing AM. Also live on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. We got a lot to dive into here today. No more spring training talk. No more, whatever. It's regular season opening day yesterday. It officially went down, and the Reds picked up right where they left off. Looked fantastic from a pitching standpoint, not so much offensively. It's one game, it's opening day, but there's still a lot of takeaways, if you will. We're going to talk about that. We'll get to some NFL stuff coming up around the corner. Yesterday wasn't on the air due to opening day, but a lot of speculation out there about the Browns' future with Myles Garrett. Could we potentially see the best defensive player in the NFL today be traded this offseason by the Cleveland Browns? Again, we are just a little over a month away from the NFL draft. Still a lot of things can happen between now and then, but will Myles Garrett be a Brown come draft time, or will the Browns use him to acquire a boatload of picks to continue to help reset this team moving forward? We'll get to all that coming up on the corner. It was a 3-0 shutout win yesterday for the Boston Red Sox. It was a 3-0 shutout loss for your Cincinnati Reds at Great American Ballpark. Garrett Crochet just absolutely dominated against the Cincinnati Reds lineup, which I had a lot more hope and excitement for. We did not get that. Crochet gives up 3 hits in 6 innings. He only walks 2 batters, and he strikes out 8. 80 was his pitch count. 52 of those pitches were strikes as far as that goes. But we did see the return of Aroldis Chapman to Great American Ballpark over the weekend. He went an inning, and he got the 3 outs. And most importantly for him, he picks up the save. And the Cincinnati Reds, well, wasn't a whole lot to be excited. I lied. There was a lot to be excited about. It's not going to feel like we're excited about a whole heck of a lot because, again, when you go into an offseason after what we saw last year, you want to see growth. You want to see the Reds attack the offseason with, hey, we liked what we saw from our team this season. Here's how we envision us getting better. And then from that angle, you attack and you try to make your team better. Well, the Reds, here's the takeaways on opening day. The Reds looked really, really good from a pitching standpoint. Defensively, vastly improved. They just can't put the bat on the ball and score runs. That's exactly how you would have summarized the 2025 Cincinnati Reds. And yet, as we sit here, that's exactly what happened. I do want to give a shout out Andrew Abbott. It wasn't pretty early. Andrew Abbott was getting hit hard early, allowing the Red Sox to put the ball in play. The defense stepped up. But in 6 innings of work, Andrew Abbott gave up 7 hits, no earned runs, only walked 1 batter, and did strike out 4. He went about 83 pitches as well. Again, you can tell both managers, Cora and Francona, both being they both putting their starting pitchers on an innings count, especially on opening day. Both went about 80 pitches, 83 pitches for Andrew Abbott. We did see Maul, Ashcraft, Phillips, Burke, one of the new additions, as well as Pierce Johnson. Pierce Johnson, gives up 2 hits, an earned run. He didn't look good on 9 pitches. Burke comes in again for one at bat or whatever, faces 1/2 the inning right there. But he gives up a hit as well. Is what it is. It was a 3-0 shutout loss. I'm not really worried about the pitching numbers. Andrew Abbott, I actually was very pleased with because Andrew Abbott had one of the most horrific springs that you can imagine. Okay? And we did this topic earlier in the week. I said, when you look at how good Matt McClain has been this spring, and you look at how bad Andrew Abbott has been this spring, I said, which one are you more confident in is going to, be who they were in spring in the regular season? And it's tough because Matt McClain, has shown signs and has been very, very good in his career at times, but he missed his entire second season due to injury. And we feel like that injury kind of carried over into year number 3 because Matt McClain was horrific last year. We'd like to think a lot of that has to do with the injury. But Matt McClain was the best player in all of spring training. Everyone you talk to, again, that's not an award. You don't get a raise for that. You don't get a bonus for that. You don't get anything for that. But I've always said, for those who say spring training numbers don't matter, I would much rather be talking about my players' really good spring training stats that don't matter than my players' really bad spring training stats that don't matter. Matt McClain, to me, had a phenomenal spring. And it doesn't mean that he's not going to have a phenomenal regular season, but he had a very bad day on opening day. Matt McClain goes 0 for 3. He did draw 1 walk on the afternoon. He did strike out 1 time. He was one of the Reds' 12 strikeouts on the afternoon. But when you're getting 4 strikeouts in a game from the top third of your order, that's a problem. 2 of those belonging to Ellie De La Cruz. Of course, we'll talk more about him in a moment. But Matt McClain and, of course, we got a chance to see Andrew Abbott yesterday. I was more confident that we were going to see Matt McClain carry his greatness over into the regular season because Andrew Abbott, as far as him not looking good in spring, we've seen him look dominant. We've seen him look dominant for years. And we saw him look dominant as the game progressed. I don't think he looked dominant to start the game. The defense was getting out. Sometimes you don't want, to continuously have, the opposing team put the ball in play constantly. But until Andrew Abbott got rolling a bit, having the opposing team put the ball in play allowed the defense to do its thing. That's what happened. Andrew Abbott, 6 innings of work, 83 pitches, gave up 7 hits with 0 earned runs and struck out 4. I'm real happy with what we saw from Andrew Abbott. I'm not happy with what we saw from Matt McClain on opening day. TJ Friedel, who I'm a fan of, he went 0 for 4 as well. You don't need that out of your leadoff hitter. Going up and down the list, Eugenio Suarez. I'm not going to overreact to that too much, but there is concern. Suarez, the majority of his big numbers last year were put up in the first half of the season. He was not good in the back half of the season, and he did not look good yesterday. 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts. Again, you brought Suarez over because of his near 50 home runs last season. You brought him over to be the power bat in this lineup. My concern is when you look at Suarez's stops previously, he was one of a few guys that can contribute. I feel like when you come to Cincinnati, he is, because he was the only big name free agent that the Reds truly addressed and added this offseason, I feel like it puts a certain level of pressure on Suarez where he feels like, man, I've just been swinging loose and freely the last couple of years, but now that I'm back, and I'm expected to be the guy that carries this team power-wise. I feel like he pressed at the plate a lot yesterday, striking out 3 of his 4 plate appearances, 0 for 4. Maybe he gets to go in a game 2 against the Red Sox tomorrow. The Reds are off today. Keep that in mind. But Eugenio Suarez goes 0 for 4. Spencer Steer strikes out twice, 0 for 3. Stevenson, 0 for 3. Noave Marte strikes out twice, nothing there. This team really struggled offensively. When you have a team that only, you got 4 hits on the afternoon, but Friedel went 0 for. McClain went 0 for. Right? Suarez went 0 for. Steer went 0 for. Stevenson went 0 for. Noave Marte went 0 for. And Brian Hayes, again, it's not a surprise that he goes 0 for. We know how, the limitations he has offensively, but he overcomes it because he is a dominant third baseman defensively. But you can't have that many guys going through an entire 9-inning game without contributing or giving a hit. Ellie De La Cruz, 1 for 4 in the afternoon. He strikes out twice. It was the strikeout numbers that had worried a lot of Reds fans last year. The no power, went over a month and some change without hitting a home run. One of the biggest strikeout totals in all of baseball, already with 2 yesterday afternoon. He did get 1 hit. He was the only player, him and Sal Stewart were the only 2 players to get a hit in the top 5 of that order yesterday. The only positive takeaway you could take from yesterday's game, I shouldn't say only, but at least 2. There were 2 positive takeaways from yesterday's game. The first one was I liked what we saw from Andrew Abbott because you're going to be without Hunter Green for a while. Nick Lodolo, the jury's out on when we can expect to see him back. It could be as early as next week, but we've seen this same blister keep him out for months before. So when you are going to be without Hunter Green, you don't know if you can count on Nick Lodolo. You really have to look at Andrew Abbott and say, you have to be our ace moving forward. And I think he threw ace-like stuff yesterday, even with the struggles early on in the game. I think Andrew Abbott is a phenomenal pitcher. I'm a big fan of his, and I thought he looked great yesterday, even when not looking great. And I think that's the sign of a good pitcher. You're not always going to have your ace stuff every single night, but are you still good enough to overcome some of that? He didn't give up a run. He gave up 7 hits, but he never let those hits snowball into a rally and let them kind of run away with it. He gave up no earned runs yesterday. He struck out 4 batters. I thought he was efficient once he kind of got in the groove. I'm an Andrew Abbott guy. I think that's one of my biggest takeaways is you have to feel good about that because Andrew Abbott, the Reds are going to rely on him. They're going to need him moving forward, especially if you don't know how long you're going to be with that Nick Lodolo, and you know you're going to be without Hunter Green until at least mid-July. And the one thing that I was the most positive about, that I felt the best about yesterday, how about Sal Stewart? We talk so much about Matt McClain and Ellie De La Cruz. We talk so much about the homegrown pitching staff. We forget that there is a new star that is emerging right now in Sal Stewart, and we saw it in a brief glimpse last year in September. When Sal Stewart went, when he was, he showed the power, he showed the consistency. You have everyone out there that says this kid's going to be a star. Everyone out there says this kid is going to be a star. Juan Soto, one of the biggest stars in baseball, absolutely loves this kid. He gives this kid all the praise in the world. They work out together. I think that's a really cool story. Sal Stewart, you hear all the praise that's given to him around Major League Baseball, and then you see him with the bat in his hand. And the toughness, he took a ball off the arm yesterday that I thought we heard it. We're sitting up pretty high yesterday at opening day, and you can hear the ball slap off of his arm. I thought for sure he'd be taken out. He was not taken out. He's tough. He remained out there and didn't just remain out there. He remained out there and continued to contribute 3 for 4 at the plate. And what was impressive is, he's going to be viewed as a home run guy for the Reds. But what I loved about him is he can hit the long ball, but he was just looking to put the ball in play and get on base. Eugenio Suarez is about the long ball. I'd like to see him just focus on just putting the ball in play and getting on base, and the home runs will come. Same thing with, Matt McClain. I thought he was pressing yesterday at the plate. And here you have this young kid who was, first opening day start, a rookie in the cleanup spot. First rookie ever for the Reds to ever debut in the cleanup spot. And look at him going 3 for 4 yesterday. Didn't hit a home run. It didn't matter. He got on base. and that's all you can ask for. And that's going to be a good sign moving forward. I think McLean's going to be fine. Ellie's going to be fine. And if South Stewart is fine like he was yesterday with Suarez hitting behind him, I think the top four, that's why I'm not too concerned, is because I think the top fourth of this lineup, the top three, top four of this lineup, pretty damn good. TJ Frieda, one of the more underrated, leadoff hitters, center fielders in baseball. But it was just concerning. A lot of guys had off days yesterday. And let's not take away just how good of a pitcher Garrett Crochet really is. Garrett Crochet is legit. I mean, the Reds had a chance to get him last offseason. They were linked to him last offseason. Obviously, they never pulled the trigger. But Crochet is one of the best in the business, and we saw it yesterday. I would like to see this lineup. They'll be able to produce regardless of what type of pitcher they're going up against. But I feel pretty good about what the Reds looked like yesterday. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio, 937-518-1410. Reds fans, I want to hear from you. The Reds opening day, they get shut out by the Boston Red Sox 3-0 at Great American Ballpark. They are off today. They'll be back at it tomorrow. We'll have more on that right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. What were your takeaways? I'm going to open up the phone lines, 937-518-1410. You can text or call. What was your biggest concern about what you saw yesterday from the Reds, and what was your biggest positive takeaway? I want to hear for every good or for every bad, I want to hear something good. Can we agree to do that here on this Friday, heading into the weekend? I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show. One positive takeaway from yesterday's game for your Redlegs, and what's your biggest concern after yesterday's 3-0 loss against the Red Sox? We'll pick up with this when we come back. More of the Justin Kinner Show next.
The Justin Kinner Show. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Are you ready to tackle this tax season alone? Well, you don't have to. Belmont Business Consultants and Tax Services, with its 30-plus years of experience, is here to help you with business and individual taxes, bookkeeping, and payroll, either in person, drop-off, or through their secure client portal. Belmont Business Consultants in Eaton and Dayton is standing by. Call them in Eaton at 937-472-3300 or in Dayton at 937-252-2217 or on the web at belmontbctxs.com. Upgrade to a new quality bath remodel in less time with minimal inconvenience and for less money with Bath Creations in as little as 2 days. We do it right. There are a lot of others boasting about bath remodels these days. Well, Bath Creations' expert craftsmanship and customer service speaks for itself. Plus, all first responders, veterans, and active military will save an additional $500 off your purchase. Visit our beautiful showroom at 8741 North Kimmel Road in Clayton or at mybathcreations.com and upgrade your new bath today.
Some people reach a line and stop. Some hit a wall and turn around. Then there are the ones who cross the line, climb the wall, face obstacles, and turn them to their advantage. That's where we come in. We're the Next Rodeo. We design bold marketing that drives real growth. A creative partner for businesses ready to push forward beyond what's expected. The Next Rodeo. Learn more at thenextrodeo.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-2013 or biglou.com.
KTH Parts Industries in St. Paris is now hiring and has increased the hourly wage to $22.48. That's right. KTH is looking for elite production associates, including press operators, overhead crane operators, and forklift operators. Apply today. KTH offers excellent benefits, including medical, dental, and 401k. KTH is a short drive from Bellefonte, Troy, Piqua, and Urbana. Upgrade your career and be valued by a company that really cares about you. Apply now at kth.net, an equal opportunity employer.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-472-2000, 614-472-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-472-2000, 614-472-2000.
The Justin Kinner Show. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show. Right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
Reds get shut out 3-0 on opening day yesterday afternoon. The Reds are off today. They're back at it tomorrow. They'll look to even the series at a game apiece, and we'll have a chance to take the series on Sunday. But not a great start. 1-0 shutout loss in front of a huge crowd at Great American Ballpark yesterday. What a beautiful day it was, too. I mean, I dressed as if it was going to be kind of cold and chilly. It was anything but. But, Cincinnati City, kind of a mess right now when it comes to, all the chaos happening around the city. But I was hoping for a little bit more chaos from the bats of the Cincinnati Reds. But they got shut out yesterday. And, like I said, Reds off today. They'll be back at it tomorrow. So I challenged you Reds fans. I need your help. I'm going to try and do this where we do it throughout the season because it's so easy to be negative all the time. We're going to do every day following a Reds game. We're going to do one because there's always going to be negative. We are naturally negative human beings. It's just how we are. Okay. I think it's called being a sports fan, but we are all just naturally negative. We are always going to gravitate towards the negative side of things. So a challenge that we're going to do on the show every day moving forward is we're going to, talk about the negative because the negative will always exist. But we are going to be forced to talk about the positive as well. There will always be a negative, but we're going to counter it with a positive as well. So I challenge you on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page, in the text line 937-518-1410, or you can call that number. What is one thing you liked from yesterday and one thing you didn't like? And I think it's a popular one across the board. I think we can all agree, right? Sal Stewart, pretty damn phenomenal. I know that's a popular one, and you guys are going to roll with Sal Stewart. And and that's more than fine. Like, Sal Stewart was phenomenal. I mean, he was a rookie getting the starting and getting, the spot, the cleanup batter spot, getting, to make that start there the way he did. And then to bounce back after, getting blasted in the arm with the ball like that. Yes, he's the most popular one. I guarantee it. But for me, I have to roll with my guy and Andrew Abbott. And it's because he had an ERA over 11. He was horrific in the spring, and he wasn't good to start. He was a little rocky in the first couple of innings yesterday. What I love, though, was he found a way to pitch around some of his struggles. He didn't give up an earned run. He didn't give up a run yesterday. I mean, Andrew Abbott was pretty damn phenomenal. He struck out 4, and I say he was phenomenal while not looking great, and that's what I like. Because, you know what I mean? Like, you'll have those pitchers that, like, they either come out and they are just zipping through the lineup and they're great, or they're really, really bad and there's no in between. What I love about Andrew Abbott is he's a grinder. He is, he didn't have his best stuff yesterday, but he was able to work with what he had yesterday, and he found a way to get it done and get a very good lineup. And the bullpen obviously gave up some runs when they came in. I'm not mad at them. You need help from your lineup, and the Reds provided absolutely zero of that yesterday. 937-1410 Wing AM. I think this is David. David, you are on live, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not too bad. I appreciate the call. What do you got for us?
So you hit the obvious with Sal Stewart being the positive, but I'm going to take it like one step a little bit further with that guy.
Okay.
He took a rocket off his wrist. Obvious pain, stayed in the game. Didn't leave the game. And right now we watch sports in a day and age where, someone cuts themselves shaving and they're out for a week. So just the toughness and the grit that guy showed as a rookie was the positive that I take. And obviously the negative was the entire rest of the lineup. Even Ellie's hit was nothing to shake a stick at. So all positive was nothing but Sal Stewart. Obviously Andrew Abbott is a backup. I appreciate everything he did as well. He grinded all day. But Sal Stewart stepping up, rubbing some dirt on his wrist after he got drilled was nice to see, and nice to see him stay in the game and set an example. And then the entire rest of the lineup. Nobody could hit. I mean, they're going to hit. I'm not too worried about it, but yeah, I like this idea of pulling a positive and a negative every day. Makes it a little bit more fun.
Yeah, because some days it's going to be hard to find that positive. I mean, imagine if our guy Sal Stewart didn't show that toughness and go 3 for 4 yesterday. If you take him out, it would be really difficult to find what that positive would be. But nonetheless, it's one
with the
game.
exception of Abbott.
Yeah, and if the Reds would have won yesterday, it wouldn't have been, oh man, they're going to the playoffs, they're winning the division, they're winning a World Series. So I don't want to say they're not going to make the playoffs, they're not going to win the division. I think the frustrating part, David, is the fact that everything that we talked about this team last year with, the pitching's great, but they struggle to produce runs and they're a tough watch offensively. Unfortunately, we saw all of that again on display yesterday.
Yeah, 100%. And if you look at what they did in spring, I mean, every night in spring training, they're putting up 6, 7, 8, 9 runs. Obviously, they're not, the pitching, or it's just a situational in spring training. But, the one thing I didn't expect to see was 4 hits yesterday. It is what it is, and they live to play the weekend.
But hey, speaking of the weekend, David, I appreciate the call, and I hope you have a great weekend, man. Appreciate you.
You too. Thank you.
All right, 937-518-1410. We're doing this all season long after every Reds game because it's going to be easy to be frustrated with this team at times. But I want one negative, one positive. You can't if you call into this show, I'll let you bitch and complain about whatever you want. But you got to follow it up with something positive. I think my guy David right there just did that. And that's going to be the rules of the show moving forward. And that means for me too, because I'm a pretty negative guy at times. This is a way to kind of balance myself, and we're all going to help each other balance one another as far as that goes. But I appreciate the interaction thus far. Chad Kinser said Chad Stewart, and Chad is watching on the Justin Kinder Show YouTube channel now. He says Stewart was the only one that looked comfortable and ready yesterday, in my opinion. No doubt. I mean, that's crazy to have that poise of a rookie. And I think it's really cool because you'll get a lot of guys that get the hype from around the league, and a lot of times it's just friends kind of hyping up one another. You hear what people say about Sal Stewart, and you see what he did in the limited month he got last year and what he did on opening day yesterday. We could talk about Ellie De La Cruz, Matt McClain, Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo, Andrew Abbott, the emergence of these stars that the Reds have drafted and developed over the years. But this one might be right up there with the Ellies of the world, and he might even be better. I mean, we're waiting to see more from Ellie. David just called. You're right. That hit from Ellie De La Cruz yesterday, it was a solid hit, but it wasn't a game-defining or game-altering type of hit. Now, you need others around you to kind of help take that hit and advance the run or this, that, the other. But Sal Stewart, I think you should feel really good about Sal Stewart. Ann Anderson, Ann, I hope you're well. She's live on the Justin Kinder Show Facebook page or tuning in live. She says the Reds will be fine. Sal Stewart was the bright light in an otherwise forgettable day, as far as that's concerned. Either way. But Chad also says, had that ball bounced off Votto's wrist like that, Votto would have been out for 30 days. And look, and no, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong as far as that goes. Shout out to Joey Votto, but he's not wrong. I mean, especially later in Votto's career, spent a lot of time on the IL, as a lot of older players do. But that last caller, I think that's one point he was trying to make is right now you have professional athletes who are constantly looking for reasons not to play. Like these athletes I feel like today's modern current athlete feels that I don't feel 100%. I don't want to play. And I feel like that's the case across, a lot of generations right now, or take the sports out of it, is we're all going to wake up some days and not feel great. We're all going to wake up some days and feel a little sad. We're all going to wake up some days and not feel like 100% like ourselves. And too many times we have too many people and athletes, especially, where if I don't wake up feeling absolutely 1 billion% great, I don't want to go to work today. And guess what? There's days I wake up and I had a little fun with that game yesterday. I don't feel 100% today, but here I am, batting my hand, taking swings. I might be foul tipping and striking out, but I'm here. There's too many people that you expect. If I don't wake up and feel 1 billion% happy, great about myself, and feeling fine, I'm not going to work that day. That mindset doesn't work. So for Sal Stewart to get that ball blasted off of his arm, and he did. He looked right at the dugout and he said, "Hey, this isn't good." It kind of shook him a little bit, a little surprised, but he shook it off and he stayed out there. And by the way, if he's not in the lineup tomorrow, I bet that thing bruised up. We'll know more about what his availability is for tomorrow. But if he's not in the lineup tomorrow, I'm not going to freak out too much. But I guarantee you that arm is pretty bruised up as we sit here right now, as far as that's concerned. But either way, I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show. Reds 3-0. They get shut out in game one yesterday against the Boston Red Sox. They'll be back at it again tomorrow. 3:40 pregame coverage will begin with the 4:10 first pitch. That game you can also watch on MLB TV, so keep that in mind. But Brady Singer will be on the mound tonight for game two. Tomorrow evening, afternoon, early evening, whatever you want to call it. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, I was a big fan of what we saw yesterday from Andrew Abbott because we know we're going to be without Hunter Green for a while. And that Nick Lodolo, that blister, you can't, it sounds like it's something light, but we've seen a blister keep him out for months in the past. So when you have a guy like Andrew Abbott, who I believe is as good as a lot of number ones out there, it's nice to see him find a way to step up yesterday and shake off how bad that spring was. The Reds are going to truly need Andrew Abbott, especially in the absence of the big two in Green and Lodolo moving forward. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
The Justin Kinner Show. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
He's a husband, a dad, owner of a gym. He's also a police officer. Staying strong and pain-free isn't optional. It's safety. That's why David Boardman's a QC Kinetics patient.
My job is dependent on my physical ability and my physical fitness so that I can protect myself, so that I can go home safe to my family at the end of the night.
But severe knee pain nearly took that away. Doctors said surgery, shut down the workouts. David needed another option. That was QC Kinetics. They told him,
we're going to give you the opportunity to have not one, but two healthy knees, and we don't have to cut you open.
They used David's own healing tools in his blood to help restore his knees. Regenerative treatments right in the office.
Since I've gone to them, I run 20, 30 miles a week.
Trust the team helping active people avoid surgery. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
It's game time with Hoops and Hops at Milano's. The hoop action will be hot and the hops will be flowing with our ice-cold all-star beer selection. You gotta make Milano's Pizza Subs and Taps your home court for all the tournament games. MilanoSubs.com.
Turn your tax refund into a new roof with Menards. Make this the year you check that project off the list. Atlas Roofing provides the best value in architectural shingles. Atlas shingles feature a limited lifetime warranty and wind resistance up to 130 miles per hour. Plus, their super wide design saves on installation time. Visit us in store or on Menards.com and get a free estimate fast on your shingle project with our easy to use design program.
Save big money at Menards.
Jackson Hewitt has a great tax prep deal, $149 or less. Missing out is like ignoring the check engine light in your car. You'll regret it. Seriously, the price is only $149 or less, no matter how complicated. So don't wait. Like when you get a password expires today alert or you're shopping online and there's only one item left. It's like your taxes are in the cart. Just complete the purchase. Hurry. This deal for $149 or less is like your phone at 1%. It's about to power down. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com. Every business starts with an idea. With smart business buying from Amazon Business, get everything you need to grow in one familiar place. From office supplies to IT essentials and maintenance tools. Ready to bring your visions to life? Learn how at amazonbusiness.com.
It's game time with Hoops and Hops at Milano's. The hoop action will be hot and the hops will be flowing with our ice-cold all-star beer selection. You gotta make Milano's Pizza Subs and Taps your home court for all the tournament games. MilanoSubs.com.
ABS, does that mean always bring snacks? TPMS, does that mean tiny potholes make squeaks? AWD, does that mean all wheels are dancing? No, that's not right. But here's the truth. Carroll Works Tire knows the real meanings and will keep your car safe without all the jargon. Carroll Works Tire, tires, service, and tire values you can count on. Find us online at c-wtire.com or talk to a real human at 937-461-5441.
Turn your tax refund into a new landscape with Menards. Make this the year you check that project off the list. Create stunning patios and build strong retaining walls with our huge in-stock selection of beautiful concrete blocks ready to take home today. Plus, easily build and design your own raised garden beds with our garden block. On sale now. Check out our weekly flyer and start saving on landscape blocks. Now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places. What you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Lyric's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week, there's something new. If you need office furniture, Lyric's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. From budget to the best. From desks to filing cabinets. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Lyric's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to want to go anywhere else. Lyric's Warehouse Outlet at 23 Mac Oil Avenue in Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Lyric's, continuing the tradition.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Hey guys, do you want male performance in the bedroom and do you want it now? Get it in 47 seconds or less. For the first time, you can have instant male enhancement. Introducing Knox 47, the topical male enhancement that works in 47 seconds or less. Satisfaction guaranteed. Finally, after years of scientific research, our proprietary formula will allow you to perform in the bedroom like never before. Just imagine that little blue pill on steroids. No reason to settle and wait when you can get instant performance now. Forget about pills and potions that make you wait hours or up to 30 days to work. That's yesterday's news. Knox 47 is brand new. The hottest thing for men. And you don't need a prescription. Call now and get your free supply for a limited time.
To find out how to get Knox 47 for free, call now. 800-647-8593. That's 800-647-8593. 3 bottles for limited time. Call 800-647-8593. That's 800-647-8593.
The Justin Kinner Show. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show, right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Ring AM.
All right, everybody, we are back. I'm Justin Kinner with you here on a Friday, 937-518-1410. Shout out to Marlon Waynes, who stopped by the studio earlier today. Appreciate him coming in. Scary Movie 6 coming out later this summer. How about that? We talked about that. We talked about his new cigar line that's coming out, plus promoted his appearances at the Dayton Funny Bone coming up this weekend. Again, I think they said 9 years. I think it was the last time Marlon made his way through Dayton, and he popped in the studio today. Cool. For everyone to get a chance to catch up with him. But Marlon Waynes will be at the Dayton Funny Bone tonight for 2 shows, 7:30 and 10:30, and 2 more shows on Saturday, 6:30 and 9:45, and then he'll do 1 more additional show on Sunday. So 5 opportunities to see Marlon Waynes at the Dayton Funny Bone this weekend. 2 shows tonight, 2 tomorrow, and 1 show on Sunday. So head to Dayton.funnybone.com, and that's where you can buy tickets, Dayton.funnybone.com. What the rule of the show moving forward, it's all about positivity, or not all about positivity. It's about matching the energy of the negativity that surrounds the Reds with some positivity. Reds did get shut out for nothing yesterday. So I said, hey, the rule moving forward, it's a challenge to you Reds fans and myself. We're going to be negative all season, but we always have to find a way to sprinkle in some positives. And yesterday, as I saw Stewart, for a rookie, phenomenal yesterday, making his debut in the cleanup spot like he did on opening day. Pretty cool. And Andrew Abbott making his first opening day start. I thought, got off to a little bit of a bumpy start, but was able to kind of reel it in a bit and overcome some of that. He was bad in the spring. He was really, really bad in the spring. And I thought he looked really, really good yesterday. As he got back on track. So shout out to Andrew Abbott, nonetheless. So I kind of solicited this out there to everybody. 937-518-1410. Text in. What was the one thing that you were most positive about in yesterday's game? And, of course, what you were most frustrated with. This is Ben from Xenia. Again, all these responses I'm reading are coming from the ESPN Dayton hotline. You can text that hotline and interact with the show throughout the show. Ben from Xenia. And when you message the show, make sure you put your signature in there, your name and where you're texting from, so I can give you a shout out. But Ben is in Xenia. Ben texted the show and said, positive and negative from yesterday's Reds game. The negative was having the bases loaded with one out and not getting at least one run. The only one I give a pass to is Suarez, and that's because he just got out from the World Baseball Classic. He's probably tired. Most likely, probably shouldn't have played yesterday. Positive, Andrew Abbott pitching an opening day was awesome. So, see, and Ben, and by the way, it's not that I disagree with you. I look at Suarez and I know a lot of these guys are playing in spring training games as well. But Suarez was getting actual game pitching. That's why I'm frustrated with his debut yesterday. These guys are getting game pitching. They're getting simulated game pitching in spring training games. But he was playing in the World Baseball Classic. I would hope that the World Baseball Classic doesn't have him tired because it's only March and we still have all of April, May, June, July, August, September, and hopefully some of October. But I definitely see where you're coming from as far as that goes, nonetheless. I want to give a shout out to, this is another Ben in Huber Heights. Ben in Huber Heights says, Justin, Pirates fan here. What I hated yesterday was Paul Skeens not even making it out of the first inning, out of the first damn inning, he says. What I did like was having Andrew Abbott on my fantasy team. So obviously a fan of a rivaling team in the Pirates. So it got me thinking because I was at opening day yesterday. I went out after the game. I didn't really follow what was all going on throughout opening day yesterday, but you got me to go look it up. Paul Skeens was a little bad yesterday. Paul Skeens, look, the Mets 1-0 on the season. They get an 11-7 win over the Pirates yesterday. Paul Skeens couldn't even make it one full inning. As Ben from Huber Heights just messaged in the show, he gave up 5 earned runs on 4 hits. He walked 2 batters, only struck out 1. I mean, he only got 2 outs. One of those he did get a strikeout, but his ERA is sitting at 67 right now. Again, it just sounds funny. It's only 1 start, but I mean, my goodness, Paul Skeens, who would have had him not even making it out of the first inning yesterday? The Mets jumped all over Paul Skeens and the Pirates yesterday. A lot of people are low-key high on the Pirates. Sometimes I think they're just low-key high, but there is a lot of people that seem to be high on the Pirates. They added O'Hearn in the offseason. You have, of course, Ozuna. You have Cruz at the top. They have Lowe. They have a lot of really good hitters up and down this lineup. The Pirates are sneaky good, and they added some reinforcements in the bullpen. The Pirates are sneaky good, but you're not going to be good when your ace can't even make it out of the first inning on opening day, giving up 5 earned runs on 4 hits. Again, 37 pitches in that opening inning, and he didn't even go a whole inning. Not the start that Pirates fans wanted. Not that I feel bad for the Pirates or Paul Skeens, but my goodness. Either way. So, but yeah, I appreciate those who are texting into the show, 937-518-1410. And that's the number that you can jump in and be involved in the show. Or you can call, like the guy Dan called, or David called a little bit ago, to weigh in on how the Reds looked yesterday. Off day today. They'll be back at it tomorrow, 4:10 the first pitch, 3:40 pregame coverage begins. And, of course, you will see Brady Singer on the mound tomorrow. Games coming up later on tonight. You have the Yankees and the Giants. It'll be game 2 between those two teams. Athletics and Blue Jays at 7:07. Rockies and Marlins, Royals and Braves. This will be the first time that either of these two teams have played. Same thing for the Rockies and Marlins. A lot of teams did not play on opening day yesterday, and we'll see them in action coming up later. The Guardians 1-0 on the season. They get an opening day win against the Mariners. They're going to throw out Williams tonight, and they'll look to get a 2-0 series lead over the Mariners in Seattle. Tigers and Padres game 2, and then Diamondbacks and Dodgers. And, back-to-back defending World Series champions 1-0 on the season. Shocker, I know. All right. What up, Treg? Treg's in the chat. He says, taking all underdogs tonight, $5 pays $400. Get it while it's hot. I'm assuming you're talking baseball, right? I'm assuming you're taking all the underdogs in baseball tonight. How about those college basketball games last night? Really good ones across the board. I mean, Arizona took care of business against Arkansas, 109-88, the final there in the Sweet 16. But Purdue and Texas, I mean, that was just, a huge right hook, left hook, uppercut. That was a heavyweight battle last night. Purdue, out of the Big Ten, the 2 seed, gets a shot at the buzzer to fall to beat Texas 79-77 after, of course, first of all, that was a great back and forth game. All the games across the board seemed to be really good last night. But how about Swain? Swain last night goes for 15 points for Texas, of course. So Xavier fans very familiar with Swain. Swain then draws the foul, ties it up at 77-all, and then, of course, down the stretch, Purdue, they come down at the other end and get that 79-77 win as time expires. How about Illinois pulling away from Houston for a double-digit 65-55 win? Illinois, Purdue. I mean, look at all these Big Ten teams pushing their ticket to the Elite Eight. But absolutely, Illinois there. Iowa takes care of business against Nebraska last night. Iowa ends Nebraska's tournament run. Nebraska had never won an NCAA tournament game in the history of their program, and then they won in the first round, and they get to the Sweet 16 after winning the first 2 games of the tournament. But their season comes to an end, a historic season for Nebraska out of the Big Ten. Duke and St. John's will tip off later on tonight, 7:10. Tip-off, that's on CBS. Alabama and Michigan, that'll tip off at 7:35. At 9:45, you'll have Michigan State and UConn. Love that. I love that matchup right there. The coaching matchups. I mean, when you look at St. John's and Duke, you got Shire going up against, of course, with Pitino. You look at Alabama. Love their coach going up against, obviously, Michigan. And this particular, 2 of the biggest name coaches in college basketball right now. And then, of course, the coaching matchup of the night. When you look at Hurley and you look at Tom Izzo, you look at UConn and Michigan State in the 2 versus 3. Love that one right there. Tennessee and Iowa State will tip off later on tonight. Either way. But it's been fun watching the Big Ten. The Big Ten has kind of slowly proven that, hey, they're a football, they've always been a football conference, but that they are the football conference. Now, all of a sudden, they're doing some big things on the basketball side, too. You look at Purdue, who's going to take on Arizona in the Elite Eight right now. And then, of course, you go down the list. Obviously, you're going to see Michigan State coming up here later on tonight. Obviously, across the board, the Big Ten, we'll see what happens. But Ohio State, they need to get that NIL right so that they're dancing late into March, like we're seeing these other teams do. But Michigan will have a chance to get there later on tonight when they take on Alabama and Illinois and Iowa in a Big Ten Elite Eight showdown will come up on the 28th, which will be tomorrow night to get to a Final Four. So there you go. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. Treg says, madness tonight, too cold to think about baseball. So you're saying, Treg, that if you put $5 on all underdogs, it pays $400? So just for tonight, right? You're talking just for tonight? So, look, Duke is a 6.5-point favorite. Putting St. John's again, if you're just doing an underdog parlay for the night, if you take St. John's, who is a 6.5-point dog, Michigan's a 9.5-point favorite. But picking St. John's, picking Alabama, picking Michigan State, and picking Tennessee, it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. But our guy Treg in the chat is saying $5. If you take all underdogs tonight, $5 pays $400. Get it while it's hot. I don't know if that's accurate. My guy seems confident that it's accurate. Are you talking about just the games tonight? Or are you talking for tonight? Yeah, I'm assuming tonight. So St. John's, take Alabama, take Michigan State, take Tennessee. And he says 5 turns into 400. I don't know what sportsbook you use. DraftKings, he says. There you go. He says, I've spent $5 on worse. There's a joke there, and I'm going to leave that one alone either way. But, nonetheless. How many of you went to opening day yesterday? Things got a little chaotic in the city afterward. A little messy. Went over to the casino last night to watch some of the games. Lose some more money. Either way. How about the Cincinnati Reds? 20-0. Shut out. Either way. We got another text coming in. This is Scott and Vandalia. Hope you're well, my friend. Scott and Vandalia, again, if you're just joining us, we're doing this exercise moving forward. We're going to be negative about the Reds always, but I'll read your negative. I'll respond to your negative, but we always have to sprinkle in some positive. And that's a new challenge that I'm kind of throwing out to everybody. After every Reds game moving forward, we're going to have a positive and a negative, no matter what. Even if they win, we're going to bitch about something. Deal? Deal. So this is Scott in Vandalia. He texted the hotline. He says, positive, all positive. Baseball is back, and God bless us with a beautiful day. No negative. Scott, you're not doing it right. I don't want just positives either. There's some negatives. They got shut out. Ellie De La Cruz was 1 for 4. All right. Matt McClain, after a tremendous spring, was 0 for 3. What do you mean there's no negatives? There's plenty of negatives. I'm all negative all the time. I have plenty of negatives for you. You don't want to be negative, I'll be negative for you. You can't just message it in the show and be all positive. You got to have some negatives in there. My goodness. My goodness. Either way. All right, coming up in a little bit, I do want to get into some NFL. Yesterday, a big deal was made because there was the restructuring of Myles Garrett contract, and it was not just the restructuring of the contract, it was reworking some of the language within the contract, which when you see certain language in the contracts be reworded or shifted or moved around, it usually is a precursor to a potential trade that's coming up. Could the Cleveland Browns potentially look to trade Myles Garrett? Would that be a smart move for the Cleveland Browns, who my only complaint about, not only, there's a lot of complaints, speaking of being negative when it comes to the Browns, and we'll get into this more coming up. I see a lot of people that jumped on it yesterday and said the Browns are making this move to trade Myles Garrett. But the bottom line is the Browns need to figure out who the hell they are, because they spend money as if they are a team that's competing to try to win a division. But they make moves based on a team that's rebuilding. I feel like there's an internal struggle of who the Browns want to be. Because I feel like, especially offensively, when you look at last year, it was a rookie that led him in passing. It was a rookie that led him in rushing. It was a rookie that led him in receiving yards. It was a rookie that led him in tackling. That, to me, screams rebuilding. But then you look at the money that this team spends across the board on defense. I mean, a year ago, you make Myles Garrett the highest paid player, non-quarterback in the history of the National Football League. That's a massive contract for a team that has $45 million a year, all guaranteed, to Deshaun Watson, who doesn't play games for the Cleveland Browns anymore. So this team makes moves like an organization that is trying to challenge and win now, but they make countering moves that scream they're rebuilding. I don't know who the Browns are. The Browns had a very effective offseason. I like some of them. I love the majority of the moves that they made. I mean, I don't know how you can't, even if you're not a Browns fan, you can't look at some of the moves that they made this offseason and say that, they didn't, swing and go get big players. Like, I think it's just kind of one of those things where Cleveland, they need to decide, are they rebuilding or not? Because if you're rebuilding, yes, it makes all the sense in the world to move on from Myles Garrett. There's still people out there that believe that the Browns are trying to do everything that they can to go get an Arch Manning. Well, if you build a roster that's going to be competitive, what does winning 7 to 8 games do for you as an organization? You're still going to lose a lot of games and be mocked. You're going to win 7 or 8 games and still not make the playoffs. You're going to win 7 or 8 games and be so far removed from any kind of impact quarterback. I don't know what you're trying to accomplish. But on the flip side, is Deshaun Watson, could he play this year? But is Shedeur Sanders the guy? Do you feel like you gave him enough to prove whether he's the guy or not? Or have you seen enough behind the scenes to know that he's not the guy? Cleveland is making there's so many mixed reactions, and they're not making any sense. They're not operating like a team that's rebuilding, but they're not operating like a team that's trying to compete as well. I don't know what to make of the Cleveland Browns in their direction that they're trying to go in. So 937-518-1410. I want to pick up with this on the other side. Should the Cleveland Browns trade Myles Garrett? The language has been shifted and reworded in the contract, which opens the door, or is usually the precursor in this particular situation, to a player being traded the likes of a Myles Garrett. Not even a year after he was made the highest paid non-quarterback in the National Football League. Should the Browns look to do it? 937-518-1410. Text or call. We'll be right back.
The Justin Kinner Show. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Drivers 50 and over can count on the Hartford Auto Insurance for protection that brings peace of mind. The Hartford, your protection is our passion. Provided by the Hartford Insurance Group, Inc.
It's game time with Hoops and Hops at Milano's. The hoop action will be hot and the hops will be flowing with our ice-cold all-star beer selection. You gotta make Milano's Pizza Subs and Taps your home court for all the tournament games. MilanoSubs.com.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Hi, everyone. Super Bowl champ Vernon Davis here from Legal Help Center. If you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, listen up, because we have legal professionals standing by right now to answer your questions for free. You can find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, Vernon. You heard it, folks. If you've been injured, call and find out how much you qualify for. Call 800-750-2700.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states. Not available in California.
Ready to love where you live? The Clark County Home and Garden Show returns March 27th through the 29th at the Clark County Fairgrounds in Springfield, presented by Home Genius Interiors. This is your chance to meet trusted local pros, explore fresh ideas, and get inspired for your next renovation or landscaping project. Admission is free, powered by Buckeye Decorative Concrete. 3 days, real experts, real inspiration. March 27th through 29th, the Clark County Home and Garden Show, where your next project begins.
Hauer Music, one of the nation's largest music stores, is having an inventory sale. Yes, Hauer Music in Centerville is now celebrating 89 years with their largest sale of the year. Hauer's has all of your musical instrument needs, including guitars, drums, keyboards, pianos, band instruments, and so much more. Hauer Music was voted the #1 independent music store in Ohio by Guitar Player magazine, along with an Eclipse Award winner from the Better Business Bureau. Award-winning sales and service. That's why Hauer's is the best in Dayton. Hauer Music inventory sale going on now.
For decades, people have been asking, what's the famous recipe behind Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken? And we've decided we're finally going to tell you. Starting with the 8-piece family meal and its 8 pieces of crispy, delicious bone-in chicken, 4 fluffy, buttery biscuits, and 2 large sides. Oh, wait, I'm just getting word from our lawyers that I can't actually tell you any of that. So, better pick up an 8-piece family meal and figure it out for yourself. Good luck. The 8-piece family meal, only at Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, famous for a reason.
Dayton's radio home for Buckeyes football. 1410 WING. Dayton's ESPN Radio. The Justin Kinner Show. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show. Right here on ESPN Dayton. 1410 Wing AM.
All right, and we are back. I don't know if you guys saw this, but this has been kind of the news that's been circulating over the last hour. But Tiger Woods was involved in a rollover crash in Jupiter Island, Florida, on Friday, according to the Martin County Sheriff's Office. No details about the cause of the crash or Woods' condition were immediately released, and continue to kind of comb through various articles that are being floated around social media at the moment. I mean, this is one of the more recent ones about 40 minutes ago from ABC News. Tiger Woods was involved in a rollover crash in Jupiter Island, Florida, earlier this afternoon, and this is according to the Martin County Sheriff's Office. His condition was not made immediately clear. So it's all, everyone has the same information, and it sounds like not everyone has a lot of information. But a rollover crash just doesn't sound good. Don't know what his condition is. More comes out on that. We'll keep you updated either way. But interesting. We'll keep you updated when more information does come out, coming up here around the corner. All right, so we touched on it lightly to close out the last part of the show, but I found it interesting that it came out that the Cleveland Browns had reworked the contract, not just restructured, but reworded the language, which obviously, impacts bonuses and everything else, because the Browns are trying to push it, according to some sources, believe that the Browns are trying to position themselves to potentially move on and trade Myles Garrett. Now, when you think about the haul that you can get for Myles Garrett, it's not a surprise. And you think about the fact that the Browns are a 5-win team a year ago. I don't even know what their win total is projected to be this year. Hell, let's just see if there's any projected win totals in the NFL for the Browns at this point for 2026. I mean, the Cleveland Browns are sitting at 6.5 wins. That's their win total for next year. Okay. Fantasy points and some of these others, have Cleveland as, their win total at 6.5 for next season. Who knows? Look, not who knows. You don't know when it comes to Cleveland, because look, this is a team that hit on a lot of draft picks last year. Their leading passer was a rookie. Their leading receiver was a rookie. Their leading rusher was a rookie. Their leading tackler was a rookie. They balled out in the draft last year. Mason Graham. The fact that, they went ahead and were aggressive, and they traded back from their top 5 pick, and they ended up getting Mason Graham and an additional first-round pick for 2026, which they're going to have 2 coming up. It was the pick, that they're going to be picking number 24. They're going to be picking number 24 as the Jaguars pick, of course, and the Jaguars ended up being a lot better than many had anticipated. I think when the Browns made that move, they thought there was a chance they can get 2 top 10 picks, but the Jags were pretty damn good this past year. But with Cleveland having so many high impact rookies on the team from last year, imagine how quickly this team could turn things around if they have another high impact draft in 2026. That's going to be nice to do. I mean, they have multiple picks in the top 3, including multiple picks in the top in the first round. They do that, which is one reason that Andrew Berry was brought back. I think if Andrew Berry didn't have such a monumental draft last year, every draft pick basically hit except Dylan Gabriel, if you will. But Mason Graham hit, Quinshon Judkins hit, right? Sampson, the running back out of Tennessee, hit, right? You keep going down the list. Schweiger, the running back, the running back that you end up getting out of UCLA was the team's leading tackler and might be one of the best linebackers in the NFL. The kid's phenomenal. Every pick that they made last year, and I'm sure I'm missing an obvious one, even the undrafted rookies were pretty damn good, and Isaiah Bond and some of the others. So everything went right for the Browns last year. They still made a boneheaded decision when they drafted Dylan Gabriel, in my opinion. I have no problem with the Shedeur Sanders draft pick. The fact that he dropped to the 5th round when the guy, when you look at his draft grade, Shedeur Sanders was a first-round graded talent. But it was all the extra stuff. I don't know what that extra stuff is, but that's what pushed him back to drop in the draft. I mean, that's the thing. You take all the noise away from his talent perspective, it wouldn't have been that crazy for the Browns to take him in the first round. Now did he look elite when he was out there for Cleveland? No, but nobody was going to look elite with Cleveland. They had no pass catchers last year. They had no explosiveness in that offense. That's one reason why they moved on from Kevin Stefanski. Does it mean that he'll be explosive in year 2? Does it mean that this offense will be explosive post Kevin Stefanski? Who knows? But you have a whole draft ahead of you. I was surprised that the Browns weren't as aggressive, more aggressive when it comes to getting pass catchers. It seems like they're going to use the draft to do that. I don't like that. I think the Browns have been pretty damn bad at eyeing and developing talent out of the draft when it comes to the wide receiver position, which is why the other day I said, I'm a big Carnell Tate fan out of Ohio State, but Cleveland really needs a number 1 wide receiver. Carnell Tate is the best wide receiver in this draft. They have the 6th pick in the draft. My concern is just because you desperately need a wide receiver doesn't mean that you use your number 6 pick on Carnell Tate, because if you do use that number 6 pick on Carnell Tate, he better be your number 1 wide receiver. And I don't mean by default, as I stated on the show the other day. It's kind of like in baseball to me. I don't agree. I hear people say this all the time. Oh, who's your team's ace? Sometimes your team doesn't have one. Now, the Reds have one. Some teams don't have an ace. And for years, the Reds didn't have an ace. They had names that they liked. Oh, their best pitcher is this guy. Just because that guy is your best pitcher doesn't necessarily make him your ace. Some teams don't have one. Jerry Jeudy is the Browns' best wide receiver. It doesn't mean he's their number 1 receiver. And even if you want to put him in the number 1 receiver slot, it doesn't mean he's a true number 1 wide receiver. And that's what I have to question about the Browns and the direction that they're going in at number 6. If you take Carnell Tate, he can't just be, he's our number 1 wide receiver. Yeah, by default. But is he a number 1 wide receiver? You have to take an impact guy with that number 6 pick, which is why I still think they go offensive line. But they weren't aggressive in the free agent market when it came to wide receivers. Now, there wasn't a lot of great wide receivers there to begin with. Maybe they're looking to move on from Myles Garrett because that defense is pretty damn good. And if you take Myles Garrett out of that defense, and hear me out, that defense is going to take a major hit losing Myles Garrett, but that defense is still going to be pretty damn good. They have a lot of pass rushers around Myles Garrett. They have a very good secondary. All right. And if they have to take a hit defensively to give them a boost offensively, I think that's something that the Browns are literally considering at this point. Because I don't know how Cleveland is going to go about not adding any. I mean, I'm looking at their depth chart right now. They were aggressive in fixing the offensive line. Kudos to them for that. They were aggressive in adding another weapon defensively in free agent. They did that. They're going to get even more depth come the draft, but I don't think that there's an impact wide receiver in the draft that is going to elevate the offense from where they were a year ago. So when I see information come out that the Browns could potentially be kicking the tires on moving on from Myles Garrett, I don't like it, but I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think it's the end of the world. You keep Myles Garrett. Their win total is at 6.5. That's what their win total is set at for this upcoming season. Your win total is at 6.5. Let's say you eclipse that and you win 7 games, 8 games, and you keep Myles Garrett. So you kept Myles Garrett. You see a little growth from Shedeur Sanders. Quinshon stays healthy, is one of the best second-year running backs in the NFL. But you still can't move the ball that well. You're going to lose a lot of games still. I mean, we're still talking about a team that's going to lose 9 to 10 games. And you kept Myles Garrett. And I love Myles Garrett. But what if you move on from Myles Garrett and your defense still is very, very solid, and you get a ton of first-round picks, and that you either package that to go get the quarterback you really want, or you package that to use some draft picks to go get the wide receiver that you want. And now you have a very good offense with a solid defense, and you're off and rolling. I mean, you look up and down the NFL. I mean, that's kind of been the mindset of a lot of teams up and down the NFL of how to be competitive. When you look at the playoffs, it's not like the Bills defense was lights out last year. They were a good offense. They were a good defense and a good offense. The playoff contenders, a lot of these teams, like the Patriots, they were very, very good defensively. They were just okay offensively, but they were balanced. Like, you have to be balanced to win in the NFL, and the Browns are so top-heavy defensively. They're not balanced at all. You have to be balanced. I mean, you look at Cincinnati, you want to feel good about them because they have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. And I really love the moves they made defensively. I've said this before. You guys are expecting me to bury this team. I think that structurally, I think they made a lot of mistakes with how they put these contracts together, but you can't deny the fact that Cincinnati went out and addressed the defense. Like, their biggest problem is they've been so explosive offensively, but they've only been an offensive team. They've been so offensive that they've become offensive to watch because that's how bad they've been defensively. You have to be balanced. Cincinnati, the only way they're going to win games and get to the playoffs and win in the playoffs is if they are balanced. Cleveland, you can have a top 5 defense all you want, but when you don't have an offense, you're not balanced. You're not going to win consistently enough to get anywhere. The Ravens, the reason that they're so consistent is they're balanced. Now, the defense hasn't been great the last couple of years, but they're balanced. The Steelers, they had to go get Aaron Rodgers. He wasn't great last year. They have been a team that can run the football and have been great defensively. Well, defense, they took a little bit of a hit last year. They weren't as dominant defensively last year, but they went and got the quarterback, and they became more balanced across the board. You have to be balanced. Cleveland's not balanced. And if you use if you go get a rookie wide receiver to be your number 1 pass catcher with a second-year quarterback on a first-year head coach and an elite defense, you're right back where you started. To me, Myles Garrett, I don't want to see him go, but I know the draft haul that he's going to get back in return. And I think that's the quickest way out for this Browns team to find a way to balance out this roster. You are not going to win in the NFL if you're not balanced. It's as simple as that. The Patriots were balanced. All right. The Bills are a balanced team. Pittsburgh is balanced. I mean, Houston, not a great team, but they were balanced. They did just enough offensively to win football games with that defense. They're balanced. They could run the football. They have okay pass catchers and an elite defense. The Browns, they can't, they have to find a way to balance this whole thing out. And until they do that, they're just going to keep running in place. I don't want to see Myles Garrett go. But if they do move on from Myles Garrett, it makes sense because you're keeping Myles Garrett just to run in place. I don't know. We'll see what they do. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show. 1410 ESPN Radio here on a Friday. Let me know what you think. 937-518-1410. Send your thoughts to the text line. We'll be right back.
The Justin Kinner Show. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Our forecast, decrease in clouds and 29 tonight. Sunny and 49 tomorrow. And on Sunday, it's partly sunny and 62. Rick Shrimp for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Talk about stepping up. It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
Oh, my house needs some help. It needs a new roof, new windows, and siding if I can afford it. I just don't know who to call. Your house is updated and looks so nice. Who does your work?
Buckeye Home Services does all my work. Their prices are affordable and they do a great job. Call 586-6600 for a free estimate. Buckeye does roofing, siding, gutters, leaf guards, windows, doors, patio covers, even kitchens and baths.
Sounds like they're the ones to call. What's that number again?
Buckeye Home Services, 586-6600.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
It's game time with Hoops and Hops at Milano's. The hoop action will be hot and the hops will be flowing with our ice-cold all-star beer selection. You gotta make Milano's Pizza Subs and Taps your home court for all the tournament games. MilanoSubs.com.
Hi, this is Michael, your service manager at Dave Arbogast Buick GMC in Troy, Ohio. I am inviting you to give us an opportunity to earn your business. We have expanded our hours to better meet your needs. We are now open until 6 p.m. during the week and 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. on Saturdays. We service all makes and models. We offer convenient shuttle service as well as pickup and delivery. Please visit us on the web at arbogastbuickgmc.com or in person. Exit 69 on I-75. Look for the giant American flag. I hope to see you soon.
Veterans, were you exposed to harmful burn pit smoke while serving